Okay. 81 of them were all told yesterday. Out of 81, about 10% I found are going to be right for what we're going to do. The irony is, as I think I mentioned yesterday, we could have used all 80 plus more. We done.
Wow.
What you said, right? Yeah. We could use that many in the organisation as it grows. Let's fill you in a little bit to start with on what we're going to cover today. So you'll sort of know that not only today, but each day from here on in with us is not something that happens ad hoc, that happens ad lib. It's something that's going to be planned. And this is one of the ways that people get successful at doing things, by planning. Okay. First thing that we're going to look at this morning is just a little bit about the company and how it grew and how it grew. Then we're going to have a little look at some of our attitudes and philosophies. Now, we had a look at you yesterday and judged by a number of indices your attitudes and philosophies and what you said and how you said it, etc. And we got the feeling that pretty much we would be compatible as far as those attitudes and philosophies. But I am not the pope, I'm not infallible. I could have made a mistake. So we're going to spell it out this morning so that you can see whether or not it's you. Okay? Then we're going to have a look at the format that we're going to follow from here on in training. And it's a four-pronged attack. All that money for my eyes and teeth. It's a four-pronged attack on training. We're going to look first of all at the triangle of training. Then we're going to have a look at some leadership and management training. So there are three areas in the triangle of training as leadership and management training. If you applied hoping to get a job, I really have to disappoint you right now because we didn't advertise a job. Did you notice that? What was it?
Pretty.
Okay. Let's get into some definitions of that and have a look at what that's going to involve. One of the things it's not going to embody is 9 till 5, Monday to Friday, etc. Anybody that was wanting that, really, I hope you weren't misled. I hope you were aware of that at the preliminary interview, and for that matter, from the time you read the advertisement. Okay? Then that'll bring us to lunchtime, and throughout the morning we'll take breaks and you can go and stretch and Twinkies and coffees and all of those things. There's an old saying, the mind can only absorb what the seat can endure, so we won't just sit there too long without a break. Then, after lunch, we'll start getting into two roles simultaneously. One, we'll be having a look at Cordon Bleu and some of the other products. Two, we'll be discussing the duties that you'll be performing initially and then further down the track. So it's sort of good to know not only what you're going to do when you start, but also where that's leading to. Then we're going to have a look, for some of you that are truly ambitious, at the corporate ladder, the rungs of the ladder. What people on those rungs do. The criteria for getting there. Then we're going to have a time of the day just for questions and answers. There's probably already 147 questions flying around here. So throughout the day I want you to jot down questions as they occur to you. Let's have a question workshop at the end of the day. So that way, if we haven't covered anything through this day of orientation, then you'll be able to come out with a question. Now, it could well be that I think things go as I think they will. By the end of the day, all your questions will be answered. But I don't know, maybe you'll come up with a question we haven't been asked for the last 12 years. Okay? Then I don't know if this would interest anybody, but I'm going to offer the opportunity for a $500 cash bonus tomorrow morning. Would that vote be it? That's called my attention getter. Okay. So that's where we're going throughout the day. All right? And what we're going to go. First of all, let's cover the company itself. Goldman was not a very new company. It started off on the 3rd of December 1987 here in Australia. It's a subsidiary of a very old company, same address. A company called Worldwide Kitchenware. And that should sort of give you an indication of what line of business the company started out in. You'll see that sign up outside the building, right up on the top of the building. And upstairs, by the way, is where administration for all of the companies throughout the country operate, because it's not just Worldwide and Put on Work. There are quite a number of other companies, including our own finance company. We are also money lenders. It's a company called Westland Financial Securities. There is also another company called Prudential Ware. Which has specialised in doing promotions and shows and shopping centres for the last 22, 23 years. So when we talk about doing promotions the way we're going to talk about in the next week or so during the initial training, as I said earlier, we're certainly not experimenting.
You try and choose.
Yeah, sure. And of course we have Put on Work. And those 5 make up the Worldwide Group. All right? Now back in 1964, when the whole thing started, the company was primarily in the business of importing, wholesaling, and also doing through the Prudential Ware Group advertising and promotions of those goods alongside of the various distributors that it was wholesaling to at various shopping centres, shows, etc. Does that all make sense? Do you follow where I'm going in? Okay. Now we have many suppliers throughout the world that we import from. One of the largest is a company called Regalware of Wisconsin. Anybody heard of Regal? Regal Millinex? One person, 2 people, anybody else? No. No? Okay. Well, they're only kind of a small company. They haven't been going very long, about 47 years. Their gross sales worldwide at the moment are only about $1,000 million US a year. That's the petty cash. No. So it's a reasonably large corporation, and we represent them in Australia. And they came up with a new product not so long ago that they spent a lot of time and a lot of money researching and developing. They've been researching and developing it for about 6 years. It's a product called Cordon Bleu, which is the French name synonymous with excellence. Technically, in French, it's blue ribbon. And we saw the product in America, got very excited about it, started not only to import it, but for the first time a decision was made to actually go into marketing the product ourselves. Thanks very much. Okay. Now, before you can market something, what's the first thing you're trying to do? Huh? No, the product, yeah, what else? He's going to have it. All right, once you've got it, okay. Whether the wholesaler, now we've got it. We want to market. What do we do?
Promotion.
Yeah, we've got to get a promotion going for it. Get people knowing about it. Is that right?
Yes.
You've probably noticed since you've been here, there's not many people banging on the door saying, what's this called on Blue? So it's a thing that we've got to take out to the public. Where the public are. All right. But let's go back to, we'll get into a little bit of that, and a little bit of what the product is, etc. after lunch. But prior to doing that, let's go back to the forming of a company. It's an interesting word, company. What's it mean?
Organisation. A whole lot of
An organisation.
joined together.
Whole lot.
Subsidiaries or people or...
Yeah, because you have a company in the armed forces, don't you?
Yeah.
You have a,
It means a lot of things, either people or...
that could be called a crowd.
It's true. Working together for the same.
Well, what about the company you keep? We talk about the company you keep, they wouldn't necessarily be working, would they?
No.
So, can we come up with a definition that would define the word company? Well, see, there's a book. And in this book, it starts out with aardvark and goes all the way, and it has all of these words in it, and it has what they actually mean in it. And one of the neat things that we decided to do was to go and have a look at what the word actually meant. If we're going to be purist about this thing, if we're going to do this thing right, then probably the best thing is to get it as close to its correct definition. And we found in the dictionary that it was a group of, use stronger words for people,
Common goal. Common interest.
and I personally think there are two key words. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. I used to do that in the early days. I used to constantly get pedantic and say, I'm right. And I quit that because I found myself apologising too many times for being wrong. Now I just say my opinion. And it's my opinion that there are two key words in there.
Well,
That's how I see it. Now, we're individuals, but we're working toward a common purpose. Okay. Let's say you were starting a company. And by the way, for those of you ambitious ones that want to, the track record of companies starting is not really good. In fact, according to the National Securities Corporate Commission, the number of companies that start in 1 year, 100% that start less than the actually see it through the first year. So your chances are pretty good. Now here we got a company that started in 1964 and has grown each year since. That's not bad. So we don't say that we're perfect or that we're absolutely right, but we say that there are some things that we're doing better. And maybe you can gather up some of those ideas so that you can truly represent a part of that definition, an individual with a common purpose. But if you were going to start a company, right, and you were only allowed one descriptive adjective to describe it, what would the descriptive adjective be?